I'm the flyest motherfucker at the kickback. Not a competition, little boy with a wrist that. Meet me in the bathroom, I don't want to chit chat. She not a boyfriend, heard he got a...
All right, well, welcome everybody. Welcome to the Kickback podcast. This is episode 74, and I'm here with CJ West.
CJ West, what's up, man?
Yeah, we were supposed to have you last week, but schedules, that's how life be, man. Life's crazy right now.
Yeah.
How's your life been?
My life is great, dude. I am like truly blessed. Like I have I just have like a really chill, simple life, you know.
Yeah. You enjoy the
just-
simple things?
Yeah, I enjoy the simple things, man. Working, Muay Thai, my cats, and making music.
Oh, you have cats too?
Yeah, I got 2 cats.
What kind of cats are they? Do you know?
I have a Bengal, and then I have like a small black and white cat that looks like a cow.
Bro, I remember YouTube, like almost every single YouTuber had a Bengal cat.
Oh yeah.
And it used to be so cool watching them because they look like leopards, like little
Yeah.
little leopards.
Yeah, he's huge. He's like 25 pounds, and he's
What?
a giant. Yeah.
25 pounds for a cat?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, he's scary.
But yeah, man, I wanted to have you on because I've listened to your music before because of the performances.
Yeah.
And it really stuck with me because it was like how you said, what is it? Death metal, but Christian
Okay.
music?
So yeah, like Christian, I listen to Christian death metal and then Christian rap. So like with my music recently, like there have been like a lot of spiritual changes that have gone on in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So I took just my beliefs, and when I became a Christian, I didn't realize that there was like no music for me to listen to, like
Mm-hmm.
because I was coming out of like the radio type of music, and
Yeah, more pop, more Hollywood
Yeah.
type stuff.
and I was looking for that kind of sound, and I couldn't find anybody that had that kind of sound, so I just started making my own.
Mm-hmm. So you started inputting your Christian beliefs
Yep.
into your own music.
Yeah,
How did that go?
I mean it went cool, dude. Like the last time you seen me at the performance was
Yeah, it was what, June 14th, July 14th.
Yeah, July 14th. The last time you see me at the performance, I had just made all that music that week. So it
Oh,
was,
really?
Yeah, like, and
So all new releases.
all new releases.
Wow.
The last song I performed, I finished mixing it and recording it like an hour before I showed up.
Mm-hmm.
So like the lyrics were still new to me, but I just knew that like this was my calling, and I knew I had to do something.
Yeah.
You know, because last time I was on stage, I was performing and I was saying all these things, and
Mhm.
while I was up there, I was like, why am I saying this stuff? And it didn't feel right to me.
Was it like a sense of doubt while you're up there, or like were you just
It was
knowing that you weren't being like your full true self?
Yeah. Okay. So where I was at in my life. So okay. So to back it up a little bit.
Okay. Let's go back from the start.
Yeah. Let's go back to the start. Okay. So I had just got clean off of drugs. Like
What kind of drugs?
was like into like really hard drugs, like
Wow.
fentanyl, meth.
Wow.
Yeah. I was homeless for like 8 years.
Oh wow.
I was homeless for 8 years, and I had gotten clean, and I had like found like a place in the church where I felt like I belong.
What
And,
called you to the church?
So somebody just invited me one day,
Oh wow.
and when they invited me, I went there, and when I was homeless, these
Mhm.
people came up to me one day. Well, actually, I think I went up to them. I was in front of a Starbucks with somebody,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just trying to get off the streets. I was trying to get enough money to get off the streets and get some food and get into like a motel room. And I went up to a guy that looked like me, but he was like in his 50s. You know, he was like he was all
He looked like you, but he was older.
yeah. He was like all tatted up, and he looked like he had been through some stuff.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I went up to him and I said, "Hey, like, can you help me out with anything?" And he's like, "Sure, you come in and get whatever you want." And we started talking, and he like took me in and he let me use his home to shower. And him and his family were just like showering me with love. They were just
Yeah.
like so welcoming. And
How did that feel?
man, it was like a breath of fresh air, because I came out here from Miami, Florida, and I didn't know anybody.
Mm.
So I was just like homeless in the streets, and I felt lost. Like I felt lost, and it's just, you know, I felt like I had to keep going with the drug scene, because like I just didn't know where, you know, I didn't know how to ask for help
Or what to do?
yeah, or what to do. So these people just welcomed me, and they brought me to church, and I didn't really remember anything from the service. But so like a few years passed by,
Okay.
and I didn't talk to these people or see them or anything. So I got clean. I went to some guy invited me to church. I went to church, and when I'm sitting there, they're showing like these pictures and these videos, and it was the church these people brought me to. And I was like, I got to get in contact with them because this just feels like God is telling me, this is the place for me to be.
He's pointing you in the right direction.
Yeah, this is the place for me to be, and like I need to just get in contact with these people. So I got in contact with them, and like I've just been stuck at this church since, and I love it. Like there's people just like me. My tattoo artist is at this church. My buddy, he's the worship leader. We make music together, and it's just such a welcoming feeling, man.
You're a Christian?
Yeah, I'm a Christian.
Interesting. Because I've been seeing like or it is kind of sad, just seeing how Christianity has slowly started to like go down the wrong path in today's society. It's been attacked a lot.
Yeah. I mean, it all depends,
It really does, yeah.
Yeah, it all depends on the person because, and that's the thing, like, some people give Christianity a bad name,
Why do you think that is?
Well, they use it to their benefit. They use it to their benefit, or they like the look, or they like the money they can get from it, or it's just like with anything. Anything can be corrupted, and anything can be used to someone's benefit, So, and it's not like Christianity is just one church,
Yeah.
It's all about like testing it out because at first like I didn't know if that was the right church for me. Then I went to another church, and this church just kept calling me back, and I got to know the people because I went in there with like my beliefs, and I went in there like with a hardened exterior, like feeling like I knew everything, and I just had to make myself vulnerable and let people get to know who I was.
Do you think that thing that was like stopping you from, I guess, accepting God into your life was like ego, maybe?
Yeah, it's definitely a part of it, man. It's definitely a part of it because, like, the devil's number one thing is pride. Like, he's known for pride, and pride goes along with ego.
Yeah, they're like hand on hand, for sure.
Yeah. So, like, yeah, that's what called me to the church, and so, like, I was on stage, and I had one foot in the church, and the music from before was just, like, really violent, and I was talking about the stuff that I was doing when I was on drugs, and it didn't feel right. Like, I was talking about this stuff, and then I was going to church, and it seemed like I was, like, kind of a hypocrite. And I just said to myself, like, I don't want to give this kind of message to people.
Okay, so you knew that you had to really stick with it in order to, one, help yourself, but also show other people that it's possible to do better.
Yeah, for sure. And that's like a big thing with me. Like, there's so many people like lost, dude. They don't know that there's help out there.
And there's a lot of people that are lost who don't even know that they're lost.
Yeah.
So it's cool that you found your way towards the church.
Yeah.
How was your experience being homeless, man?
Oh man. Hold on. It was dude.
You need to take a drink. Go for it, bro.
Okay, yeah.
No problem. We're in no rush for a conversation. We got all the time in the world.
Right on. Okay, so. Oh man, so it was crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Like.
Go for it. Yeah, get comfortable.
So it was like, how did I end up there, or like what?
Yeah, like how did you end up there? What are some experiences that you had to go through?
Okay, so
it's kind of like a reflection.
Yeah, so okay, so I was 16 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, I was 16 years old, and I left home. I had a pretty hectic had a hectic household growing up, dude. Like, my sister passed away when I was 12, and I was just getting in fights all the time, and my mom and dad were dealing with my sister passing away in like different ways.
Older sister?
Younger sister.
Younger sister.
Yeah.
Wow, man, sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's all right, man. So they were like dealing with this in two different ways. I didn't know what to do. Like, and I had this girlfriend who was just like really like keen to the streets and keen to like drugs, and just was like basically like this like thug life kind of girlfriend. And I just ended up following her, and she was like, just come with me, like I got a place we can go to. So I left home at 16, didn't look back, and we stayed in an apartment together. and just got caught up, selling drugs, and then started doing the drugs that I was selling, and I ended up homeless by not taking care of my health and just not taking care of myself, not knowing anything about how to save money or anything. And I just saw like it was so appealing to me because I had no responsibilities. I didn't have to go home at a certain time. I didn't have to, I don't know, follow any rules or.
Yeah, you felt good.
Yeah, I felt good. And yeah, it was just for someone being 16 to being homeless, dude. It wasn't easy. It was pretty hard.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like a difficult experience for a 16-year-old.
Yeah, it was kind of scary, but I caught on quick, man. Like, there's just a lot of weird stuff that happens in being homeless. So like, fast forward a little bit, to like when I was 18, I just like found an area in Miami that everybody knew me at. It was called Overtown, Miami, and I just stayed in like this 3 mile radius for like years on end, and I didn't leave. I was known out there for stealing Tide Pods. I would steal laundry detergent and sell it, and that was like my way of making a living. But to be honest, dude, like behind all this stuff it was dark. It was like really, really dark because I would sleep on the sidewalk and people would walk over me just to get to work, and it was just hard living with myself.
Yeah.
And it was hard living with all these feelings, so I just kept getting high and doing drugs and
To try to cope with the feelings.
yeah, try to cope with the feelings and just what was going on with me, because it's like ruthless, man. Like the second someone is like vulnerable or lets their guard down, people are gonna take advantage of them. They're gonna try and steal from them, or they're gonna try and lead them in the wrong direction. And I always stayed away from people, and I was always by myself. I never liked hanging around groups of people because, like it's hard getting to know people for who they really are when you're homeless.
Yeah, and it's kind of harder to trust once you've seen like
Yep.
everything just collapse before you.
Yeah, and just not even really knowing who I was, because
Oh yeah.
when I'm on drugs, like anything, like depending on what I'm doing or what I'm taking, I can lose inhibitions, or I can turn into a different person, or just my way of thinking gets all like messed up. And so like it was dark, man. It was dark, and I was always looking for a way out. I was always looking for a way out and just couldn't figure out where to fit in or where to go. And I seen so many of my friends pass away from being homeless and just being on drugs, from overdoses and stuff. And I felt like that was gonna happen to me,
So you started becoming more aware of the possibilities that what could happen.
Yeah, and I became very aware of the possibilities because it was like my buddy would be right next to me, and another minute later he's gone.
Wow.
And yeah, and I got so used to that. I got so used to that lifestyle. 1 minute someone's here, next minute they're gone. And this area in Miami, it's not a friendly place. I was in a situation where someone walked up and started shooting people.
Wow.
And I remember like just running and saying to myself, like, I don't want to die here. Like, I don't want to die out here in this field, because I was running through a field and this guy just like walked out of his car, started shooting people, and I ran to the back of the building, and I looked over the corner to see what he was doing. He walked back to the car, grabbed another gun, came back and started shooting people again.
Wow.
And
What was he just like? Did he just have like hatred in his heart or something? Well,
I couldn't really tell you, man. I don't know, maybe because where I was at, people were selling drugs.
okay.
And I don't know if it was like a beef or something. But when he left, he drove away. I went back to the front of the building, and he shot like people that were playing dominoes, and it's just a scary thing to look
Oh yeah,
at.
that sounds terrifying, bro.
Yeah, man. And thank God I'm still alive, and I didn't get shot. But just seeing that, it opened my eyes to like how real this stuff can actually be. You know, like you see the movies and stuff and you hear about it, but just
News
seeing
and
it
stuff.
firsthand, like something like that, you can't brush off, you know?
Yeah.
But like that day was pretty crazy. That day was crazy for me. I wanted to get off the streets, and I had no way of or doing anything. My parents completely wiped their hands of me. They had to do like this tough love thing because, you know, for me, when someone like me is doing drugs and I have a family that loves me, I'm hurting them. You know, if they know I'm out in the streets, it's hard for them to get close to me.
It hurts them that you're hurting yourself.
Yeah, and that's the thing I always said to myself, like, oh, I'm not hurting anybody. I'm only hurting myself,
Yeah.
not realizing the damage I'm doing to other people.
Yeah, that's a crazy way to think about it,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah, by hurting yourself, you're hurting other people. But
Yeah.
a lot of people do, especially now. Like you see it left and right. People are just like, "Oh, I'm just doing me. I'm not
Yeah.
hurting anybody." But it's like you don't realize the damage you're doing to
Yeah.
those around you who really do love you.
Yeah, and like every time I would want help or do something, I would call my mom, and I didn't realize how much it was hurting her to know that I was hurting. You know, I would like beg her, and she would help me, but I would do something like really stupid and just lose her trust again. So it just became like this vicious cycle. And I would go to jail and I would get out of jail, and I would say, "Oh, I'm gonna be different," and do the same thing over and over. And it was just like that for years on end, and it felt like it was never gonna end.
That you were in a constant loop.
Yeah, a constant loop. That's a great way to describe it. And it was pure insanity, dude. Like, because the only thing, like, for someone as an addict that's using drugs, the only thing they can think about is using drugs,
Yeah, the next hit.
and that's it. And there is nothing else other than that, until they get clean. You know, until they get clean.
How hard was it to get clean?
It was hard, dude. It
Yeah.
was not easy. So how I got clean and how I ended up in California. So I woke up in California.
What?
I woke up in California.
So
Yeah.
one day you were in Miami, the next you were in California?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
So I woke up in a rehab center out
Okay.
here. I guess after reading the text, I took a bunch of Xanax, and I convinced my mom that I would go to California into rehab if she gave me $20. And I woke up in California.
Yeah, somehow, some way you got there?
Yeah, and I went to go leave this treatment center, and when I walked out, I saw the Sony Entertainment Place, and I saw hills and mountains and stuff, and I was like, I'm not in Florida. And
You're like, this does not look familiar at all.
yeah, I was like, this is pretty crazy. And it took me about like a mile. I walked like a mile till I noticed I wasn't in Florida, because I noticed at first the bus looked different, and it was just weird. And so I walked back to the treatment center, and they were like, "You forgot your phone. If you're really gonna leave, here's your." And at the time I was homeless. I was like, I didn't have a phone, so I had this phone, and I was reading the text, and yeah, it was just like this conversation to me and my mom, going back and forth. But even at that time, I didn't get clean yet. I just stayed homeless out here for a couple years, and I met those people. So I met those people I was telling you about, and they helped me get into a treatment center. And in this treatment center, it was like my first time ever hearing about a 12-step program.
Okay.
And a 12-step program is essentially something you go to on a regular basis, and they have 12 steps. You can work them or you don't have to work them. But like I work my 12 steps, and it's hard to describe it without having it in front of me. But basically, what it did was it gave me like a full like makeover. Basically, I became a totally different person.
Here's a whole 360.
Yeah. Well, I would say like a 180.
180.
Yeah, 360.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. 180.
Yeah, so like a whole 180. Like my thinking changed. Everything about me. A completely different person. And so I met these people. They showed me this treatment center place. I went there. I left. And I got exposed to a 12-step program. Didn't stay clean at first, but I knew that there was a way. I knew that there was a way for me to get clean if I wanted it.
You really wanted it. There's that saying, super simple. When
Yeah.
there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah, if there's a will, there's a way. And that's the thing. Like with getting clean, there's tons of people who need to get clean, but to want it, you know, for someone who actually wants it, it's there. So I wanted it, and you don't have to go to a treatment center to get into a 12-step program, but I knew that if I wanted to get clean, I had to get off the streets. So I got some Medi-Cal insurance. I got into a treatment center. They took us to these 12-step meetings every single day, and I just stayed plugged in ever since. And stayed in this treatment center for like 60 days. When I got out, I went into a sober living, like right down the street from here, and built my life up. You know, got a job. Never had a job before in my life.
Wow, so you got your first job?
Still, and I'm still there. Yeah.
Wow.
Got my first job. Been there for like 4 years, and just built my life from the ground up, from like nothing to like where I'm at today.
How do you think? How were you thinking? Like, what was your perspective towards God or towards religion before you even got introduced to the church?
That's the crazy part. Okay, so this is insane. So I was like anti-God.
Were you consider yourself atheist?
No, I was like all about the devil.
Oh wow.
And before I had this tattoo, I had 666 on my throat. Because at the time of my life, when my sister passed away, I said I hated God. And I was like, I hate God. He took my sister. And I was just like, and the music I was listening to 3-6 Mafia.
Okay.
And their name is 3-6 Mafia, which is 666 Mafia. And all their music, they talk about the devil and they talk about all this stuff. And I was like low-key devil worshiping in a way.
Yeah.
Because I was talking about this stuff. I was rapping about this stuff. And my perspective towards God was like, it's lame. It doesn't help anybody.
What's the point of it if it's not helping me in any way? It's not beneficial.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
It's not working.
Yeah, it's not working. And that's a perspective. That's also a part of like people.
Let me tell him to lower the music real quick because I don't think he realized. Be right back. All right, give me 1 second.
Cool.
So that way we can actually hear the podcast. He's in his truck. That's why.
Oh, nice. He's a mechanic?
No, he's trying to. He's not a mechanic, but his truck is messed up, so he's been trying to fix it up. But yeah, you were saying, man.
Okay.
You were anti-God.
So yeah, I was anti-God. I just like the idea of God was like weird.
It was unappealing to you?
It wasn't appealing to me. So being an addict, one of the parts of being an addict is we're obsessive, which is the obsession. We think about drugs or we think about something and we stay focused on that. The compulsion is we go and pick up the drugs, and once we put a drug in us, we're completely self-centered. So it's like this trifecta of obsession, compulsion, and complete self-centeredness. And I had this overwhelming self-centeredness about myself, but the ego, the pride, and I always thought like, what is God going to do for me, you know? And same thing with my sister passing away. Oh, God took my sister away from me, and I was always just worried about me. And I didn't realize that, you know, it's not about like what God can do for me. It's about who he is and what he represents. And I was just like not about it. I didn't want to hear anything about it. And that's like one of the ways that the devil can get to us too, man. Like he can completely blind us from stuff. He can completely blind us from a miracle that's happening right in front of us. He's called the deceiver. He can deceive us. And he was deceiving me into, you know, he wanted me to stay in my drug addiction. He wanted me to stay homeless, and he wanted me to believe that there was no God.
Yeah, I heard my dad told me one time, because I'm just starting to like learn a little bit more about religion, like just as of recently, which is really crazy because I would have never expected myself to like really get to this state. So I'm still, you know, dabbling in there, but I'm really enjoying what I'm learning and what I'm feeling, you know, what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
But he told me the devil will do anything in his power to, I guess, lead you away from the word of God or the truth
Yeah.
of God.
That's absolutely right. Yeah, that's absolutely right. And like with me too, it wasn't like, yeah, I went from like the devil straight to God. It was me finding my
A
place.
lot of questioning.
Yeah, a lot of questioning and learning about different spiritualities, and it took a lot of like dabbling for me to figure out what fit for me,
Hmm.
and what fit for my spiritual beliefs, and not just that, but like the people that are involved with this certain spirituality, because like I said, like I walked into the church and I saw people just like me. That
Hmm.
had tattoos. They sounded like me. That were talking about similar things that I've been through, and they were just so welcoming,
Yeah.
and they laid it out for me on like who God really is and what He wants for me, and there was like more to that too. That like there was a lot of paranormal stuff happening to me,
Really?
a lot of really like trippy stuff, man.
Wow. Like,
Yeah,
can you like
yeah,
talk about some of
yeah,
them? That's insane. The paranormal, like
yeah.
like ghosts.
Yeah, like okay, so and it's like it's crazy for me to talk about these things because like I've always said to myself like, oh man, I don't want to be that dude, like that crazy guy,
Yeah,
the
I get what you
alien.
mean. Yeah. So
Yeah,
you kind of like hold yourself back.
yeah, but you know what? Like I'm more than happy to share it with people because it is a living proof that the devil does exist,
Yeah.
and that because
You've been through it. You've experienced it.
yeah, I've
Yeah.
experienced it, and so like since I was younger, like what we've been talking about, I was filling my head up with evil, with darkness, with
Hmm.
drugs, with this demonic music, and I was never realizing what it would do to me. Um, because the devil's objective is to make people believe that he doesn't exist.
Hmm.
So
The devil doesn't exist, or
yeah,
God doesn't exist.
the devil.
Oh wow.
He wants to deceive people that he's not real.
Uh-huh.
So basically, by what I mean by that is he wants people to live in sin and feel like there's no consequences.
Oh wow.
And that's what I was doing. Like I was living in sin. I was, having like unprotected sex. I was a sex addict, a drug addict, and I was just filling my head with all this messed up music and
Negativity.
negativity. And I was always so negative, and not just that, like I was always fighting people, um, and I was just like not the same person I am today, basically.
Hmm.
Um, so at this point in my life, so I got clean, and when I got clean, or let me back up a little bit. Okay, so when I was homeless in the streets,
Hmm.
I there was like this one night I woke up,
Hmm.
and there was this lady, like I was laying down on like a bench in it was like a bus station,
Okay.
and there was this lady, and just like you see in the movies, like her eyes were rolled back in her head, and she was doing like this like weird thing over my head, and she like pulled the hair out of my head, and I woke up and I was like, what are you doing? And her eyes went from like rolled back to like normal, and she looked at me, she didn't say anything, and she walked away. And
What?
yeah, it tripped me out. It tripped me out.
What did you like now that you reflect back or like talk about that? Like, what do you think? What's your
Okay, so
mentality on that?
to give you like an understanding, and maybe you can add it in the video. Okay, so where I was at Commerce bus station, or no, Commerce train station, and if you look that up on Google Maps, it's a completely uh deserted train station.
Okay.
There's nothing there. I got kicked off the train in like mid train. Like I jumped on the train, didn't have a ticket. They said you need to get off the next stop. And not knowing that Commerce Station was completely deserted. There's no streets around there. There's nothing around there. It's just a train and a little station, and there was like two porta potties.
Mm-hmm.
And I was hoping that the train would stop, and I waited like a day and a half, and the train just wouldn't stop at that station
It
anymore.
kept going.
It just kept going, and I was like, well, I'm gonna just get enough rest while I'm out here. So there was nobody there. It was just me. I was using these porta potties. I go back to sleep, and one day, yeah, this lady just wakes me up. She's doing this weird chant thing over my head. She's moving her hands around. She pulls a piece of hair out of my head. I wake up. I noticed that she's like an older lady, a heavy
Yeah.
set older like white lady, and I don't like I kind of freaked out on her, but then I was like whatever, and I was like just get away from me, like just saying that to her, just get away from me. And I was like trying to process all what just happened.
Yeah, but you were terrified. Like I
Yeah.
can see how something like that. You're like, just go away.
Yeah,
Shoo.
and like I'm like looking down, just waking up and look back, and she's gone. She's
Wow.
completely gone.
Like just disappeared.
And there's nowhere to go. There's like a little side street, but I would have seen her down there. So she's just gone. She might have went in the porta potty. I don't know, but I didn't see her at all after that. I don't think anything of it. No, I don't think anything of it. So I ended up in Long Beach,
Uh-huh.
and I'm in downtown Long Beach. I think it's called like I don't know the name of the street, but it's downtown Long Beach. There's a Walgreens there, and I'm talking to all these people, and they're all having this like the same experience as me.
What?
Yeah.
So other people had seen that old lady?
They had similar experiences with people doing stuff like that, and it was
wow.
like it was like paths just aligned. We all ended up in the same place at the same time, talking about the same
Same
exact
thing.
thing. I'm not saying anything. I'm just there,
Listening.
yeah, smoking weed with these guys, listening to what they're saying, and I'm like looking around, I'm like, no way.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm like, this is not happening right now, and so like all these conspiracy theories are going through my head.
Wow. Yeah.
All these things are going through my head, and I'm like trying to figure out what's going on. I'm like, man, somebody's messing with me. So I just leave and I go into Walgreens, and I was like living in that area for a little bit. I was just like sleeping out there.
Mm-hmm.
So then, so nighttime comes, and I'm still in downtown Long Beach, and I start seeing like I don't know how to describe them. Not like shadow people, but like spirit looking things.
Really?
Like translucent, like spirit type things, like for like split seconds, though.
Really? So just like almost like a shape figure.
But big, like
Big?
really big, like
Wow.
like really big, and there's no cars, there's no nothing out at that time. The city's like dead, and if I would have yelled, I would have heard my echo through that area because there was like nothing going
It was just
on.
completely empty?
Yeah, it was just completely empty. There was like homeless people doing whatever, and so I was like, no way. And stuff started tripping me out a little bit. So I end up I'm start seeing these things, and I just brush it off, and I start noticing I see them almost every night, like every night, everywhere I go.
It starts happening more occasionally.
Yeah, and it was like my goal and mission, because I would tell people about this and they're like, nah man, you're tripping, you're crazy. Or I would just get mixed emotions. Some people would be like, oh yeah, I know, I've seen these type of things too. Or some people would be like, no, you're tripping.
Mm-hmm.
So I stopped telling people about it. And hold on one second.
No, because I believe in those type of things sometimes, because there's some things that are just so unexplainable to this world that as much as you want to try to tell somebody about it or try to like, I guess, express what you experienced, it's so hard to believe. So,
Yeah.
and it also depends on like the person that you're talking to, you know.
Yeah.
But that sounds so scary.
It was scary, dude. So I ended up like getting in a relationship with this chick, and we were together, and I would tell her I would see these things, and she'd be like, you're tripping, all this stuff, and she would call me crazy. And
Yeah, when people call you crazy, it's like everything you just said doesn't matter.
Yeah. And like I ended up breaking up with her, and I ended up in jail.
Wow.
And I'm telling dudes in jail about this stuff, and they're like, yeah, man, like this stuff is real. And there was like a dude who had like a book about things like this, and I was just reading about it, and it was talking about demons manifest when, you know, you're getting closer to the devil and all this stuff, or you are a part of witchcraft,
Mm-hmm.
or or you're
I was
messing.
gonna ask you, do you think that that lady, what she was doing, was like a part of witchcraft?
Most definitely, dude. Most definitely.
Because especially when you said the pluck of the hair,
Yeah.
like that really not resonated, but like it stuck with me.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, and like 100%. And when I was younger too, I would mess with people, and I would just do like really crazy stuff. Like I don't know, like just like have like these fake devil seance things just to freak people out while we were
Yeah.
getting high, just to mess with people. And I feel like low key that might have been, I don't know, like tempting the devil or just prodding the devil or something, but I feel like it might have ended up catching up with me, like all this stuff.
Yeah.
So like I was in jail, I was reading about this stuff, and I got like educated on it, on like why this stuff was happening, what it means. Even that book is not definitive on what I was seeing, but I knew I was seeing for something for sure. Like
It was just somebody else's experiences put into a book?
yeah, so it was like a guy from the UK. He wrote like this whole book on different things people experience. It was like a book full of like conspiracies and then occult stuff. Just some like really far out stuff.
Yeah.
So I was reading it, and it had like people getting abducted in it. It had spirits. It had like shadow people, and like I knew this stuff was real. I knew it was real, and I knew it was out there. So when I got clean, like this stuff still didn't go away. Like I would still see it every once in a while. So I ended up setting up cameras in my apartment.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like I went like full-fledged setting up cameras.
Paranormal activity stuff?
Yeah, and like I caught some of this stuff on camera.
You really did?
Yeah, like I caught
When was the last time you looked through that footage?
recently.
Really?
Yeah, like I showed somebody from my church. Yeah, because like I told them about this stuff, and they like they believe it. They believe it. At first, I didn't want to show them because I didn't know if it was blasphemy in a way. Like, oh, you shouldn't show somebody from the church like some demons or spirit videos.
Yeah.
But I was telling them about my experience, kind of like how I'm telling you right now, and why I wanted to get saved and why I turned to God. And because that's the reason why I turned to God, because this stuff was happening, and it was scaring the crap out of me. Like, it was like really scaring me. So just to back up a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got clean, and I ended up relapsing, and I had an apartment and stuff. And in this apartment, one night, this stuff was happening around me, and I was ignoring it. I was completely just ignoring it, and I was saying out loud, whatever, I know you're there. If whatever you are, the devil, demons.
You started talking to them?
Yeah, and I was like, I don't care. Do whatever you want to do. And the lights in my house started getting bright, like bright, and it got like foggy and like smoky in there, and you could just tell there was a difference, and like I could feel a difference in there, and I felt like I was living with something.
Wow.
Yeah, something like evil. And that's when all these videos started happening. So I got clean, and I'm looking back at all this footage from that whole time, and there's a video of like this demon popping his head through the wall, staring at the camera, like for like 24 hours straight.
Really?
Yeah, like just staring at the camera.
What did the demon look like, if you were to describe it?
It looks like it kind of looks like an alien.
Really?
In a way. So it I believe it's demons, dude. Like people say so my views on aliens are I believe they're demons. I believe they're demonic just because of what it talks about in old scripture, and like there's stuff that goes back thousands of years that describes these things also, and describes them as demons. So it looked just like those. It kind of looked like that thing right there, dude.
Like this?
Yeah. So gray with a face like that, and big eyes,
Wow.
giant eyes. No, I wouldn't say like the rest of the stuff, but just the face.
Just this right here.
Yeah, but all black eyes. And it had its like hand up to its face, and every 4 seconds, it would like move
Like jitter?
and go back to normal, and it would like move and go back to normal. Yeah, I could send you the video.
Oh, I want to watch it at the same time. I'm like, holy crap! Like,
Yeah.
that sounds terrifying.
It is terrifying, and that's why like I went straight to God, because I saw, like, I knew what side I wanted to be on. I knew like I didn't want to be on that side,
Yeah.
and there was another night, like maybe a year ago, when I was at work, and I work on machines. I'm a machinist engineer, so I'm fixing the machine I'm on, and I have this piece of plastic. It's like a square translucent piece of plastic, and we have like these LED lights that come down from the machine, and just for a split second, I move this piece of plastic, and I notice on the wall of the machine's like this yellow color, but it casts like this face looking thing, and I was like, no way, and I put it back, and there's this like face that's like, it's like smiling, and it's got its tongue out. It's like sticking its tongue out.
Oh wow.
And that was a reoccurring theme.
Yeah, I've actually heard or even seen like kind of pictures or drawings and
Yeah.
art of that like face that's like almost laughing at you.
Yeah, and it's like sticking
Its
its
tongue, yeah.
that was a reoccurring theme with these faces. Not the face I described,
Yeah.
but
You just keep seeing
this
faces.
time. Yeah. So this time, so I'm like holding this piece of plastic in this front of this light, and I'm recording it the whole time, and it's like this face, and it's like changing.
What?
And it's like changing, and then it showed like 3 faces, and they're all sticking their tongue out. Yeah. and
What? At work?
At work. Yeah. So, like this stuff like scared me, dude.
Yeah.
But like at this time of my life, like I had been saved, like, and I knew that like, God has authority over all this stuff, and like no matter what faces they show, they can't hurt me, because like I'm saved and I have the Holy Spirit in me, and like I'm praying, but I'm recording this stuff just to document it, just to show people that this stuff is real.
Yeah.
So yeah, this video lasts like for 3 minutes, and there was
Wow.
yeah, right. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. And this is all what moved me to Christianity. This is why I went to God. This is just lines up with my beliefs, and
You
yeah,
put 2 and 2 together and it just all started making sense.
yeah, it all just started making sense, like I don't want to live a sinful life. I don't want to live a life where I am like living with these demons, and like we're all going to pass away one day. I don't want to go to hell, basically. And I wanted to be saved from all the things that I did in my life, because I mean, being homeless, dude, like I had to do a lot of crazy stuff to survive, and living with that, it was hard for me to live with that, but knowing that like God forgives me for the things I've done made me feel a little bit more comfortable. Because that was another reason why I didn't want to get clean. I was like, well, why am I going to get clean if I'm just going to have to deal with all this stuff that I did clean, and I don't put anything in my system to numb myself. So yeah, man.
Is there like a, like how you said about forgiveness? Because I was thinking about that, I think earlier today, honestly. How did you kind of, I guess within yourself, know that God was forgiving you? Like, did you feel something different? Did you think I don't know.
So there's like scripture that lines up with these things. I don't know it off the top of my head, but it says that like when we become saved and we give our life to Christ, He forgives us for everything we've done if we repent. So repent means to turn away from. Turn away means like, okay, so I was doing this bad thing. If I repent and ask God for forgiveness and I don't do it again, He forgives me. But if I keep living in sin and just say, oh, I repent, keep doing it. Oh, I repent. It's like foxhole prayers, basically.
And I think that's one of those things that leaves a bad connotation with Christianity is that people go and repent for the things that they've done, yet they go and do them. So
Yeah.
it does come, how you said earlier in the podcast, hypocrisy. It's shown a lot.
Yeah, and people aren't perfect. I'm
Of
not
course.
perfect, man. Like I've repented and went out and done stupid things again. And it's just a learning process, man. Yeah, like I've asked God for forgiveness for things that I've done and just had trouble getting away from this one sin.
Hmm.
Like pornography was one of them. It's
And now it's seen so normal in
yeah.
everyone's life. Like I
Yeah.
haven't watched. I used to watch porn like way back then, but I now, like, even just by hearing those messages and thinking, putting God first, I know
Yeah.
He wouldn't want me watching that type of stuff.
Yeah,
And
and I mean it's like it's not a bad thing, dude. You know what I mean? Like I understand people people are people,
Mhm.
and with like a young mind and a vulnerable mind,
Exactly.
people can be led in the wrong direction.
Hmm.
And so if I have friends that are saying like, "Okay, it's all right, dude, like go for it." I'm going to end up believing that after a while,
Hmm.
So that was a hard thing for me to drop too.
Yeah.
It's been months since I've even touched that.
Same. Yeah.
Just because I know how like addicting it is and how draining it is. Like I feel like drained. Like
It also gives you I guess, false belief
yeah,
towards like relationships and how you interact with other people.
yeah, expectations.
Yeah.
Yeah, expectations, and like you said, like it's normalized.
Hmm.
I truly believe that we're being desensitized for a reason.
Yeah.
Like
Desensitized is a good word.
yeah, violence, like with sexual content, language.
Drugs are becoming more mainstream too.
Yeah, yeah. Like it is normal now for people to talk about popping fentanyl pills in songs. And when I was making songs about that kind of stuff, people thought I was crazy. But I mean, fentanyl is like the number one killer right now
Yeah.
of
I
drugs.
have some friends who have lost family members because of it.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Yeah.
And I don't know what, the objective is for people desensitizing us to that, but I just know that I can't live with myself
Yeah,
doing
we're losing a very pure innocence,
yeah.
slowly and slowly.
Yep.
But like what, I don't know, cuz I from all the people that have been coming on the podcast, even me included, honestly. Um we're always like, I'm becoming more sure of God. But the whole like thought of it is like, man, this, it's still that little doubt within me
Yeah.
sometimes. But I know that I doubt because it's like that human aspect that's
Hmm.
telling me like, hey, dude, come on, really?
Yeah.
But I like, through all the guests that have come on, they've all said that same thing, that, well, I don't know if I fully believe in God. I don't know what religion I am. I don't really know, because, but you know, so I don't know. I feel like we see that more regularly in the world, where people don't really, or they're unsure of the presence of God. What do you think? I don't know. What do you think would be a way that, I guess, God and the belief of God becomes more common again?
I don't think it'll be ever common.
Wow.
Honestly, yeah. Um, it talks about the devil being the god of this world, and
Mm-hmm.
we're and we live in an evil world.
Yeah.
I don't think like God or someone's beliefs are always going to be accepted.
Yeah.
You know, it's it's what it's whatever your experience is. Every single person is different.
Mm-hmm.
It took a long time for me to figure this out, and I'm still learning. I still have doubts sometimes, but that's what faith is. Faith is just knowing you believe in something.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's hard for me to have faith in God, but like I do it anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I don't understand what God's will is, but I still try to live in God's will. And for me to pinpoint what God wants for me to do, I'm gonna be circling around all day long trying to figure out what it is.
Hmm.
But it's just, and it's not always doing what is right. It's like I have to pray before I do anything today.
Wow. Do you wake up and pray?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the first thing I do before I feed my cats. Before I do anything, because it all it takes is for me to wake up, and the devil can get straight to work like as soon as I wake up.
Hmm.
You know, if I pick up my phone, I go on Instagram, I'm already feeding myself all this negative crap.
Hmm. You never know what can pop up on your phone.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it could be like a completely bad message that just destroys the rest of your day.
yeah, yeah. Like yeah, like I picked up my phone the other day. And I'm not usually on Instagram. Um, I just like released some music and I just wanted to post it, but like I picked up and I went to like the reels or whatever.
Yeah.
And the first video it showed was some guy getting shot in the head,
Mm.
and it showed like the whole thing.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've had some friends try to send me those videos. I'm like, y'all shouldn't be watching this.
yeah,
This isn't good for your brain
yeah,
at all.
yep,
Yeah, I think porn was probably one of those things too. It's not good for your brain.
yep,
I don't know, but it's become so commonly accepted.
yeah,
I don't know who it was, but they were on here and they said that the same thing that you just said, that this world is the world of the devil, but in order to escape it, or it's, I guess the way I thought of it was like, yeah, it was when you die, that's when all the experiences that you had on this world is what's going to determine to you to go into the world of God. I never thought about it like that. I thought this was like God's world, but the more and more you put things together, you kind of start to realize what's really going on.
mm-hmm.
Did you ever have any more paranormal experiences afterwards?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's not like something that went away. So when this first started happening, when I got clean, I started seeing doctors and psychiatrists because I was hoping that it was like a mental illness.
Oh, wow.
I was
You were hoping that
yeah,
it
I
was
was
a mental illness.
because I would have like a clear cut solution of I could take a pill and it could be fixed.
Mm.
Um, I went to the psychiatrist. I showed him the videos, and he said, if it's not something that's happening inside of your head, and it's something that's happening in front of you, and you're showing me the video of it, then this isn't mental illness.
Yeah, this is something, because I'm seeing this right now too. Yeah, in the
Yeah.
video. That, wow.
Yep.
So what did he say? What did he recommend?
He recommended God. Yeah,
Wow.
he recommended God, and I sent the videos also to NASA
To NASA?
and MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network,
Uh-huh.
which is like one of the biggest UFO, paranormal, whatever. I could pull up the message. Let me see what she said. Let me see what she said real quick.
Yeah. I wish that was done more often by psychiatrists and doctors, because how you said, I wish it was just something like that a pill could fix, and that's usually what the answer is to most doctors and psychiatrists and like people, they say you need therapy, so you have to go and rely on somebody else to kind of pick your mind, but at the same time it's more of a self-healing that you need to do, not something that just gets, one, fixed overnight, and two, it's going to be, I guess, covered up by a pill, how you thought it could happen. So it's kind of, I don't know, it makes me glad that the psychiatrist or the doctor that you went to go visit kind of pointed you towards the direction of God, kind of believing in yourself a little bit more too.
Yeah, and to be told, yeah, to go to God is like not what I expected at all.
Yeah, you were expecting something completely different.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Because usually, psychologists and people who believe in God are always in debate.
Mm.
You know, they're always in debate. Well, you know, God is, like a psychiatrist say, God isn't real. It's just a false belief to make somebody's mind better. And you know, people who believe in God will say, well, God is just something I believe in. It gives me faith, and I have faith in God, and I have faith in what He's done. So it's like always this big debate.
Mm-hmm. Something that divides everybody a little bit more. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I heard something the other day, and it was they said that the world is going through a big spiritual war right now.
Spiritual warfare.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it has always been going through spiritual warfare. So basically what she said, um, this is Linda from MUFON. I guess
Okay.
she's one of the people that you contact.
Mm-hmm.
She said, this is not an entity case nor a UFO case, so we won't investigate it. But I recommend that you get control of your life in a positive way, and I believe that these are spirits and that you should ask them to go away.
Wow. So it was. So she said it's not a UFO, or
Yeah.
not an alien or anything like that, but
Yeah.
it's something much more.
And that's what she said,
Wow.
from MUFON.
Wow.
But so yeah, just dude, it's crazy, man.
It sounds crazy. Yeah.
Yes, but like it's not like something that cripples me from like living my life or anything. Because at first it was like I was focusing all my attention on it. Like, dude, check this out. Like, this is happening. Can you believe this is happening? And I was looking for all these answers, and I was going to all the wrong places.
Mm-hmm.
But I just realized, man, like, this is happening to people. Some people just don't realize it,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But I mean, there's always like crazy stuff that goes on in this world. It's like I can't focus all my energy and attention on it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, dude, like this happens, and I just pray, man.
You know what was crazy? The one thing that you told me was that at first you knew that these things were happening, and you told them, "Listen, I know you guys are here. Whatever you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
I don't really care. Just keep doing what you know." And then she told you the complete opposite. She
Yeah.
said, "You need to tell them to go away."
Oh wow, yeah, that is pretty crazy.
So how did that happen? Did you ever like had that conversation with them to tell them to go away?
Yeah, so
A cleanse in some sort of way. How did that happen? How did that go?
okay, so now that's like so in the church they'll tell you to get delivered, which is it's people would call it an exorcism,
Yeah.
but an exorcism like with the Catholic Church, Christian Church is deliverance. So what it will be is it will be like a group of people from the church.
Mm-hmm.
They'll all get around and they'll pray and they'll command like in the mighty name of Jesus, I command you, demon, to leave. Jesus Christ takes all authority over you, and they'll do that. And I've seen people who had like actual demons in them, like in a split second, just turn into a completely different person, and like not being an actor, with like true non-believers
Mm-hmm.
that had no belief in Jesus Christ or anything. The second we all started praying, or people from the church started praying, it's like kind of like you see in the movies. This person just started rolling around, screaming, all this stuff.
Wow. So you've seen it firsthand?
I've seen it firsthand.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how they would like portray an exorcism in a movie or something where they just start like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's not like that. But this dude like was like rolling around on the ground. His eyes did look pretty crazy. His eyes looked pretty crazy. He was yelling all this crazy stuff. He was like spitting stuff out of his mouth, and it was like they were praying for him for like an hour straight. And it was just like afterwards, he was like a totally different person.
Wow. So they came to your house and
Yeah.
they started praying. And did you see anything else after that? Did it work?
Okay, so yeah, so I contacted these people,
Mhm.
like, so I talked to the people from my church, and they, like, my buddy came over, and my other buddy came over, my buddy Ronnie, my buddy JR from the church, and they had me write like everything that was going on, because I told them about it, and they were like, oh yeah, dude, like stuff like that happens all the time. And I told them about it. They got ready. They fasted for like a couple days straight, and they just told me to keep praying and keep praying. They came over to my apartment, and we prayed, and we just prayed, and like I could instantly feel something different happening to me. Like I could feel like my house was like okay to live in. I felt like my head was clear, and I felt like another thing I felt that was really weird was when I would try to put thoughts together or like schedule something.
Mm-hmm.
There were times when I would get confused, and something else, like an intruding thought would come in my head.
Uh-huh.
And
Compulsion again.
after they prayed for me, like all that stuff went away.
Wow.
And I felt like, I don't know, man, like maybe it could have been like whatever these things are, just trying to put thoughts in people's heads or my head. I don't know. But I know like completely, like I had a complete change after all this happened.
Yeah, so you, in a way, it did really work out for you. You saw the
Yeah.
changes.
Yeah. And it just like put the nail in the coffin to my beliefs. Like it made me believe even more in God.
Yeah, so you have, how you said, yeah, there's times where you still, I guess, um, doubt faith, and again, that's
Mm-hmm.
normal. You know, there's things when things don't really like go your way, but I feel like afterwards you're like, oh, like it just takes a little bit more time to make sense of what
Yeah.
exactly was happening.
Yeah. And another thing, like to back up that statement, is like there were some things in my life that I wanted to keep into my life because they were for my benefit.
Mm-hmm.
And I was praying to God that something would change, but I wasn't praying specifically for this thing, but I was praying for, like, I was describing something similar to what I was trying to hold on to, because this stuff was bringing me money and it was like doing good things for me, and God was trying to move this stuff out of my life, and I couldn't see it, and I just wanted so badly hold on to these things. The second I let go of these things, and I just wiped my hands clean of them, God put new opportunities in my life, and it was like the same exact day.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just, I feel that's another way that God works. We want to hold on to things so bad.
Because it brings you comfort.
Yeah, because it brings us comfort, or because it brings us financial gain, or it builds up our self-esteem, that we want to hold on to them so bad that God's trying to, move new things into our life. We can't see it. We're just so blinded by what we want, or what I want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I don't know. I've been hearing there's like even my wording when because I like to write a lot. The words that come out, it really surprises me sometimes because like I would have never expected me to write these words and also make a lot of sense, not just of one thing that I'm really talking about, but it just connects to almost everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wrote this thing I was singing a song. It's a by Sam Cooke. It's called "Nothing Could Change This Love," right? And it's really stuck with me, especially this week. I've always loved the song, but it stuck with me a lot this week. And I was writing, and as I was writing, just the thought of God kept appearing within me, and I was like, how, like I'm writing this about something like personal to me, yet it feels like if he's almost telling me to write it in his perspective, and it really does connect a lot to one thing that I was talking about, like my main objective, and then two, the ones around me, and then three, literally almost you can fit it onto everything. It's like that's the answer, that's the truth. So when things like that kind of happen, it reminds me that yeah, God is real. It's so weird. I would have never expected myself to, I guess, think this way. So, and then when people like, you who have had these experiences, who have gotten much, much closer to God, it almost reinforces my belief in my faith a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah, each person is going to have a different experience.
For sure.
Like, the experience that I had is going to be completely different from your experience.
Definitely. But it's funny how life can, even the two people's lives, or someone's lives can be so completely different. There's always something in between that just connects in somehow, some way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, people, like, not everyone's so different.
Yeah.
Everyone's human. Everyone has their trials and tribulations. And people are always changing.
People are always figuring it out.
Yeah, people are always figuring out what they like. Like, when I got clean, I didn't even know who I was or what I liked.
Mm-hmm.
All these things, like, I just started doing. Like, I started making videos, got into Muay Thai, started skateboarding,
Mm-hmm.
Got cats. Never had a car before, never had a job, didn't know how to do normal things. All I knew was, like, a certain way of living,
Mm-hmm.
and just like I changed over a pretty short period of time.
It was pretty quick that you saw those changes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it took a lot of work too.
definitely. Yeah, a lot of willpower.
Yeah. Well, not I wouldn't say willpower. It took a lot of working on who I was,
Oh, okay.
cause like these 12 steps that people work, it's like a lot of writing. We have to do a lot of reading, and one of the 12 steps is we make direct amends to people that we have harmed. And when I did that, like it was like this huge, complete shift of my personality. I started talking different. I started thinking different, and I realized that like I wasn't such a bad person. And like I realized that like I was only human, and I think it helps too that I go to these meetings because I hear people with similar experiences, and it sounds like they tell the same exact story as I've been through.
Yeah, that's exactly kind of what I was getting to. Is, well, not exactly. I haven't experienced
Yeah.
anything like that, so it's kind of crazy just hearing those things that actually happened.
Yeah.
But exactly, we're there's always something in our lives that can correlate in some way to each other.
Yep.
But I'm glad that now you're doing a lot better. You're feeling a lot better. That's what makes me happy. I like seeing people do better. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And when I heard your music at Ergfest, I was really hearing it. I wasn't not just like there was something within me that I felt. And I was like, yeah. I don't know which song it was because I haven't been able to like listen to it again since Ergfest. But I remember I was taking my pictures and I was listening. And that's why I didn't really get that many pictures of you. It was just like I took those pictures and I heard what you were saying, and then I kind of stopped. I felt like I don't know, there was something in my chest, and I like a big deep breath. It was so weird. I don't know. I don't exactly know how to explain what I was feeling, but it was liberating. Liberating is definitely one of those words that came up to mind.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever told you this,
That's
but
awesome, man.
yeah, what you were saying really stuck with me.
That's awesome.
I want to listen to your music again. You said
Yeah.
it's available on YouTube, Spotify?
Yeah, it's on YouTube and Spotify. Like I just released this 2-song EP album thing. It was the last 2 songs I performed. The songs previous to that I haven't even released or anything. So like the last 2 songs of my performance are on my YouTube page. It's called Jesus Freak. And
Okay.
it's just like a 2-song little album. This weekend I'll be releasing more music.
How did you make the switch from the music that you made before over to the music that's like what I don't know, because doing that switch in your art is definitely something really hard to do.
Yeah.
So how did you find the lyrics to the music? How did you start to implement God, the presence of God into your music?
Man, my creative process is so weird, dude. It is really weird.
Yeah.
I hear music in like almost everything. Everything I'm doing, I can always hear music. So like, I put on my YouTube when I was driving to work, and a beat came on, and I was saying to myself like, it would be really nice if somebody made, or if I made, with the same kind of beats, the same kind of style, because I have like this southern Florida, like Tennessee kind of like rap style. If someone made that style, but talked about God, and I just couldn't find it anywhere.
That's one thing that really stuck with me because it was in a style that I've never really, I guess, been a part of or like listened to. Then I can see how people can stray away so fast just because it's so hard and so But it's like I put all of that to the side and I just listen to the words, and that's basically it.
Yeah.
It's weird that it stuck with me because it was something that I usually would just refrain away from, but
Yeah.
I listened.
That's pretty cool, man. And I'm glad it caught your ear. Yeah, that style's not for everybody. And the reason I love my style so much is because it's what I grew up listening to. Like, since I was maybe 12 years old, this style of music, and being from the South, like, we're really into like our old school rap. Like, we're really into our like 1990s early cassette tape rap music. Like, just listening to that kind of music, just like it gets me excited. Because when I was young, I was like 11 years old. We didn't have YouTube at the time. We had this website called soundclick.com,
Okay.
and people would upload music, and it was like from all over the world. And then I heard this one dude who was from Tennessee. He's been making music since like 1990. He was working with 3 6 Mafia at the time, and I heard his style, and I just latched onto it. And when I looked up like old school Tennessee music, it's like this huge catalog of like these dudes you would never, you have to like look deep for this stuff. And then it's just like the specific sound, and getting to know how these dudes made this music, it just blew my mind. Like, they would take karaoke machines and record their music on karaoke machines
Really?
and cassette tapes,
Uh-huh.
and they would sell them. And just like the thrill of being able to do that, it was like so weird to me. And I was like, I got to do this, you know. So I started making music when I was 12, and I went straight for that style,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So like that style has always stuck with me.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up now, like it's kind of I don't know, it's kind of a normal style. Like Suicide Boys implemented that style into their music, and this dude Freddie Dredd.
Yeah, I know who that is.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, this Canadian dude. He's a pretty cool dude. Like he took that style, and I was like, man, if I could just take that sound and put God into it. And once I started listening to this beat and I started like freestyling, it just came like second nature.
See, I think that's what it probably is. Because when I have listened to Freddie Dredd, it's under my Warrior playlist. You know,
Yeah.
something that really just gets you in the mood.
Yeah.
Right? Just starts bumping you up. So I can see how it evoked an emotion within me, right? And I think that's what it did with your music too, but just
Yep.
in a different sense.
Yeah, that dude, Freddie Dredd's pretty violent. His music is super violent, dude. And like at first, like I started listening to him when he first came out with music.
Mhm.
He had this song called "I Hate Your Guts," and I saw his music video, and it was kind of funny because it was like this little white guy, but I heard the song before I saw the music video, and I was like, no way, this is the dude who makes this music. And like I loved his sound. Like I love how he just all the way from Canada, he took the sound from like the South, and he started making his own music with it. I think that's so cool when people do stuff like that, man.
Yeah, when they start, I guess adapting. Yeah, he said adapting their style, but adding their unique touch to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad that you really hear that from your music.
Oh yeah, yeah. Thanks, man.
And you said you made one of those songs like an hour and something before.
So yeah, so I had a couple songs ready to go, and I had this one song that I had to record, and I just had to get it ready. Ergie was like, "Yo, do you have your set ready?" And I thought it was ready, and then I was like, "Oh, I forgot to record this one song." So like 2 hours before I started recording it, I had like an hour left. I had to mix it, master it, and get out the door. And yeah, so 2 hours I made this like song, and just it's one of the songs that's on this album I just released.
Okay, so and how did you feel performing it?
I forgot the lyrics.
Really?
Yeah, I forgot all the lyrics, and I was just like, oh man. But it was okay, dude. Like I had so much fun just performing.
Yeah, that's one thing that I do get from your performances, that you do look like you're having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You know, walking everywhere on stage. You know, and it's you expressing your energy onto the
Yep.
people. People can deny it. People can like put up a shield, but
Yeah.
if you're open to it and you actually like take it in for what it is,
Yep.
it gives you new perspective. What about Muay Thai? How did you get into Muay Thai?
I just got in like recently, man. Like
I saw you over there kicking a tree.
yeah. Yeah, dude. So that's pretty funny. So one of the dudes from my church,
Okay.
he does Muay Thai, and I've always boxed, but he was like, "Yo, you should try Muay Thai." And once I started, like he taught me how to do the kicks and stuff, I just fell in love, and I've just started kicking the crap out of these punching
yeah.
bags, and like I just started getting really good at it. So I've been practicing a lot, dude, and it's something I do to start my day. Like I'll wake up, I'll go to one of my meetings, and then I'll go straight to the gym before I go to work. and it just completely changes the way like that I feel for that day, and I feel so much better afterwards.
Yeah, there's something about like putting all of that uh energy into that kick. Because
Yeah.
punching is one thing, yeah, but that kick, there's like a different motion, you know. And once you hit the bag, it's just a pow.
Yeah.
You feel like the power behind it, so it
Yep.
kind of reminds you of how powerful you are.
Yeah.
Have you been watching like Muay Thai fights or kickboxing
Yeah.
fights?
Yeah, so I watch like a lot of MMA.
Okay, me too.
Yeah, I love MMA. I
Hmm.
did a little bit of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu when I was like maybe like 14, 15 years old. Didn't really like it that much because I wasn't familiar with the different styles. I didn't know that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was like all grappling.
Hmm.
I wanted to like just do everything in MMA all at once,
Yeah.
but I wasn't able to, so I did Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I was smoking a bunch of weed at the time. So like I would go there, and I would get my friggin' butt kicked, and I'd be like, man, I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah, you
You
don't
know,
want to try anymore.
yeah, because I was like stoned and going to class, and they were like just like putting me in like choke holds and like all this stuff, man. And I would forget the moves. So when we go to spar, it was like I'd just be like so confused on what I was doing.
They just rolled you up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
It's funny because weed is one of those things in the jiu-jitsu community that they do a lot. You know,
Oh yeah,
they all smoke together and they
yep,
just start playing jiu-jitsu.
yeah.
Yeah, I used to do jiu-jitsu as a kid too.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Nice.
I didn't smoke weed at the time because I was like,
Yeah,
what? I was like 11 or something. But
nice.
yeah, I've always enjoyed jiu-jitsu, and now I really like MMA.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing Muay Thai for?
Just like 2 months.
Okay, so it was very, very recent.
Yeah.
No, Muay Thai is one of those martial arts that really changes. It makes a big difference when it comes to fighting.
Yeah, because it's the art of 8 limbs. So you use your hands, your elbows, your knees, and your legs. And dude, I mean, like
The
the
art of 8 limbs.
yeah, it hurts, man. Like it's not like something that like I could just walk into. Getting kicked with one of these kicks.
Oh yeah, checking a kick, just right there on
Yeah,
your shin, shin against shin.
yeah, man. Like and especially like where we aim for the nerve that's on the back of the knee.
Hmm.
It will like cripple somebody if like you get hit with one of those. It's pretty bad.
I mean, yeah, I've seen that before in like UFC fights when they get kicked right in the perfect spot
Yep,
and their leg almost turns off.
yep.
Have you seen the? How familiar are you with UFC?
I'm familiar with it. I like a little bit of like the older UFC. I don't know any of the new guys.
So like, have you seen Demetrius Johnson versus Henry Cejudo?
No, no.
You should watch that later on when you go
Right
home.
on.
But
Yeah.
they're fighting, right, and Demetrius, he throws a kick right there, right on the nerve, and throughout the entire fight, you just see Henry Cejudo almost like falling over
Yep.
his leg and tripping over his leg. So it's crazy. You hit the right spot with the right amount of pressure, and boom, it's just gone.
Yeah, I mean dude, like even just getting hit, like that's another thing I don't realize. These dudes get hit so many times in their leg and they fight the whole fight. Like I've been hit one time and it was just like out for the week. Yeah, you know, like it's just like crazy to me that they get so conditioned to being hit right there over and over.
Do you have any goals with Muay Thai, or do you just want to do it to do it for the fun of it, or just to get that training in?
Yeah, I like having the training and like being able to protect myself, you know,
Yeah, definitely.
and being able to just be skilled in that nature. I don't have any real plans with it. It's hard for me to join a gym. My buddy's been trying to get me to go because my work schedule, I work at nights.
Hmm.
So I usually get up around like noon every day. And these classes are early, like 9 a.m. You
Yeah,
know,
she can't really make it.
yeah. So my buddy's just been training me, like me and him just one on one whenever he
Oh.
gets free time.
How has training helped you with your mentality or with, I guess, life in general?
I mean, it has helped me a lot. It's made me more disciplined because
Yeah,
you know, being a guy, like I have to have this hard exterior sometimes,
definitely.
and like coming where I came from, I always had to be like sort of a tough guy, you know, and it's disciplined me to where I know I can let my guard down, and I don't have to feel like that, and I don't have to feel like I'm the hardest person ever, and just yeah, it's definitely disciplined me, and just realizing, not to get in a fight with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Because before I was like so easy to just get in a fight with, and now it's like knowing how deadly some of these hits can be, and like I try to stay back from people. And
Yeah, so you've learned to just kind of, I guess, step away or de-escalate the situation a little bit
Yeah.
more. So in a way, it helped you find another sense of peace within yourself.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've heard that a lot with training.
Oh yeah.
Do you have any kids?
No.
Will you ever have any kids?
Like I don't want to be
You don't want
honest.
to?
Yeah. Well, as of right now, like a thing that they talk about in the church is, getting married and having kids.
Mhm.
But like just where this world is going right now,
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's definitely one point that's always brought up.
Yeah, and like people being bullied, like so I was bullied when I was younger, for my sister being bald when she had cancer.
Mhm.
Like I was bullied because she was bald, and I wouldn't want one of my kids to go through being bullied.
Mhm.
So yeah, and plus I don't want to feel latched on to a woman if we don't end up getting married and we truly love each other.
Mhm.
Say I get a chick pregnant and we break up or whatever the case may be. I wouldn't want to go through that, and I wouldn't want to put my kid through that.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Um, I always I always like to think about it because, yeah, the way the world is right now is very, very scary.
Yep.
But it's cool because the more work you put into yourself, the more, I guess how you said, the discipline that you've been kind of implementing into your life, it eases that situation. So you you kind of know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
You kind of know like a clearer path that you want to go down. And if kids or a family is like one of those things, like you kind of know when and where you're going to be ready to actually make that, commitment. It really is a commitment.
It's a big commitment. And like I don't date.
Mhm.
I don't date chicks right now. I was celibate for 2 years up until like not that long ago.
Mhm.
But yeah, like I was just complete, and like even today, like I just don't date because um, relationships can be pretty hard,
Definitely, yeah.
And if it doesn't work out, I've been through that before, and I've been through the pain of being in love with somebody and then having to watch him go.
Mhm.
I just don't want to put myself through that.
Yeah, I get what you mean. But again, how I was saying, it's kind of that work that you put into yourself
Yeah.
that makes something else work. Because it's
Yep.
like I've already gone through the darkest times. I've already seen the light. I've already put in so much work within myself that I know that anything that kind of comes into my way, I know that it's going to be either for me or not for me, or if I want it to work, I'll make it work.
100%.
Yeah, it's how you said it, I'm not always on guard. You
Mhm.
kind of gain that confidence within yourself.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like I'm very specific with what I let him into my life today.
Oh yeah, you have a higher standard for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good to have. I do promote that a lot to my
Mhm.
friends. Like it's okay to have a standard for yourself.
Yeah.
Because it's like once you have that standard for yourself and you know what you're looking for and you know what's really going to do good by your side, when it presents itself, you know that that's going to be it.
Yep.
Yeah. And especially dating, like dating right now, there's a lot of things going on, man.
Yeah. Like cheating's become the norm.
Divorce rates have gone up to like what, 80% or something?
I think it's 80%.
I think so, yeah.
Dang. Yeah, that's crazy.
It is crazy, yeah. So I can see how not having a family, especially now in this generation,
Yeah.
oh man, the world's going crazy.
I mean, dude, like there's a literal war going on right now in
Mhm.
Ukraine.
Hmm.
People forget, that could easily happen anywhere else in this world right now.
Yeah, people don't really think about that for a second. Is that at any moment something can happen, even here in America,
Yep.
the place that you would never think something like that was gonna happen again.
Yeah. Yeah, it's scary to think about that stuff, but I feel like, we as like citizens should be, aware that these things can happen.
But how you said it, I remember in the beginning of the podcast you said how the devil will blind people, to
Yep.
try to stray away from the truth of God. And I feel like that's been happening a lot more. There's a lot of people who have been blindsided. And the more you try to tell them or try to, I don't know, express God's love for them in a
Mm-hmm.
way, maybe not like directly God's love, but, you know, just talk to them,
Mm-hmm.
that they're more willing to stick to their truth more than the truth.
Yeah, like for me, I just try to, love every single person equally.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't have any prejudices. I don't hate anybody, and I try to love people as God would love me.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to love people equally the way that people have showed me love. Because like I was just some guy off the streets, and some random people took me in and just loved up on me and just showed me that there are people that do care. If I could express God's love through myself, it would be something of that nature. You know?
Yeah, it just always, that's the main thing that I've been trying to carry with myself this entire time. Even when those like little thoughts of, I guess, anger or hatred do pop up into my mind,
Mm-hmm.
I always remind myself like, no, that's not the way to go about it. It's always, it's love. Love, I
Yeah.
think, is the answer to almost everything in this world.
Yeah. Yeah. It can be. I know that, um, like, I don't think anyone's ever died from loving, from love. People have died from hate, but I don't think no one's ever died from love.
And I was thinking about that today. Remember how I was telling you about the Instagram story?
Yeah.
At the same time, God died, not maybe not from the love for the people,
Mm-hmm.
but the love that He has for His people.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the ultimate sacrifice.
Yep.
That you're willing to die just to protect your love for everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Just to think that, yeah, he died for our love, for his love for us.
Yeah, I feel like that's the most powerful force on earth, and people, we're forgetting it slowly and slowly, or it's being masked for something that they tell you that it's love, but it's actually coming from a state of hatred.
Yeah, and not everybody's got clear motives either. Some people might just say they love someone for the wrong reasons.
Hmm. Yeah, especially that. So it's, I don't know, manipulation. You know.
Yeah.
You know, you see it left and right, and it does sadden me. I think that's something with us artists. It's just that we become more emotional. We're more in tune with our emotions a little
Yep.
bit more. So we get we get to express or like take in feelings on a deeper level, and then the more we like fiddle with those emotions, like we come to such a deep understanding that sometimes it's more difficult to explain it to somebody who hasn't really entered
Mhm.
that state of mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so like, what do you do as an artist? What else do you do?
Like even this, just
Yeah.
the art of conversation. You know, I used to draw all the time. I'm write all the time. I like talking to
Nice.
people. I like hear the art of listening.
Yeah.
You know, there's arts all around us. Art's life. I've reiterated that so many times. The art of life. You know, life is an art as itself. You know, so the more you start thinking about it in that way, I feel like the more you get to cherish it. The more grateful you get.
What do you write usually?
Uh, like I have, well, this is like, for example, like this is just like my ideas of things that I want to do. I write, if I'm thinking of something, I write in my journal, you know, almost all the time. Literally wrote, like, if you go on my Instagram, I literally wrote like a whole thing right there, and then it's just whatever my thoughts are, whatever I'm feeling, whatever my plans are. I try to write as much as I can because I feel like it makes me understand myself a lot more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I know that writing isn't for anybody, but I feel like everyone should at least give it a try. I know how you, like, even you write your own music.
Yep.
You know, we're always writing something. We're writing the story of our lives.
Yeah, I carry around a notebook with me too in my backpack.
Hmm.
I don't like writing on my phone.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, sometimes I have to, but yeah, I love writing.
Yeah, I don't know why I don't like writing on my phone. I'll go into my notes app every once in a while and just like write something down really quick because I know that I'm gonna forget it someday.
Yeah,
But yeah, I don't know. There's something about writing in a phone versus writing with a pen and paper
yep.
that's just makes such a big difference. I don't know what it is. What do you think it is?
I think it's the intimacy.
Intimacy.
Yeah, the intimacy of being connected more with what we love and our passion,
Mhm.
and just actually seeing it, because we're so used to being on our phone that for me it doesn't always seem unique,
Mhm.
you know. So when I write down something on a piece of paper, it feels more like it's my creation and I made it.
Yeah, you just put a part of yourself onto that piece of paper.
Yep.
Yeah,
Because it's also my handwriting, and
exactly.
it's not just letters that are typed through a phone, you
Yeah,
know.
I was trying to convince my dad to start writing in his journal because I got him a journal from, and I ordered one for him because I knew that it was helping me. Maybe it can help him too,
Yeah.
right? And I talked to him. Have you been writing? He's like, no, mijo, I don't. It's just, I don't know. There's something I don't like my writing. I'm like, but that's you. You know, there's nobody else that's gonna do your writing or express what you're thinking on that paper, but you.
Yep.
You may not like the way you're writing right now, but the more you get to it, the more familiar you are with yourself. And I
Yep.
think that's what it is. That why people don't like to write on paper is because they're not really okay yet with who they are. It's kind of like a reflection or an extension of yourself,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So I don't know, I've noticed that with my own writing, just seeing how my writing progresses or how it's changed, it reminds me of how much I've changed and how much I've grown.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So yeah, there's art all around us.
Yeah.
I like calling myself an artist, maybe not in the way of like I'm making music or if I'm making like a painting, but I do appreciate art and I go into every single thing that I do from an artistic viewpoint.
Yeah, that's crazy that you say there's art all around us, because this tattoo that I have on my throat uh, is it's this guy, it's this graffiti artist from Florida. His name is Why Not, YNOT. He passed away. He got murdered on his 21st birthday at a nightclub.
Wow.
But when I was homeless, his art was everywhere that I went. And every time I would see it, it would give me hope. And I would see a new piece, all types of different places. And he had been passed away for a long time.
Hmm.
So I would like go somewhere and I'd see his art and I'd see like the people that he was with, art, and it just was like the coolest thing for me. I don't know how to I don't know if that's the best way to describe it, but it just gave me hope. And like the times of my darkest, I would just be somewhere in front of his painting. Like I would be in an underpass and his art would be on the opposite side, and I would just be like under this underpass, just looking at it, just staring at it, and just hanging out and just like admiring the art that he put into it. And
Hmm.
just knowing that he passed away, but like his art still stands was
His
like,
legacy lives on
yeah,
forever.
yeah, it was just like amazing to me. And being from Miami and like the nightclubs that are down there, a lot of famous people are always down there. Like I ran into Big Sean one time.
Really?
Yeah, I bumped into him on an accident. He was walking into, I don't know, maybe a nightclub or a restaurant, but I bumped into him, and his like security guards jammed me up for a second, and I didn't realize who he was, nor did I really care. But I've had famous artists come from like Germany up to me. They seen me just walking, and they pulled me to the side, and they're like, "Oh, that's Why Not on your
Oh, so
throat."
even they're familiar with his art.
Yeah, because he's like world famous.
Okay.
Everybody, when he passed away, he was in the newspaper. He was all over the place. And actually, another crazy thing is, I was getting waken up by the EMTs one time, and the EMT said to me, "Is that Why Not on your throat?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "If you don't stop doing what you're doing, you're gonna end up dead like him." And that always stuck in my mind. Yeah,
Wow.
crazy.
So yeah, it really did I guess connect with you and it's gonna
Yeah.
be part of you forever.
Yep. And not just that, but like knowing that like all these people from Germany, EMTs, knew who this artist was.
Yeah.
Just some random street artist.
Mm-hmm. I have this tattoo on my hand. I've talked about it before in the podcast. And this is also one of those reasons that I do appreciate art. Like ever since I was a kid, like one of the most vivid memories that I have was my kindergarten friend's mom asking me like, what do you want to do when you grow up? What do you want to be? And I said, and oh, I want to be an artist. But she said, "Oh yeah, you like to sing?" And I was like, "No," because at that time I would draw all the time. I'd be drawing literally everything, and I meant it like that. But now that I look back at it, I think, and I'm like, I do every single thing that I do again from the viewpoint of an artist. And when I was gonna get this tattoo, my cousin, uh, I was like, "Hey, give me a tattoo," because he had just gotten like a tattoo gun from like Amazon. Don't recommend anybody getting a tattoo gun from Amazon, but he was like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll look up something really quick and see what comes up, and whatever I like, I'll let you tattoo so you can get some practice in." And one that stuck with me a lot was the thing that I got, and it's in Italian, but it says that art is the solution to chaos. And I think about that, and I'm like, yes, art is the solution to chaos, the art of loving, even. There's been some huge wars in the past that have been stopped and ended just because of some poetry or a song or a painting. There's I bring up Michelangelo a lot, but even his art, it still lives on to this day.
Yeah.
And it shows kind of like I don't know, because religion was one of those things that was huge back in those Renaissance time periods, but it made sense and I guess in a way ended chaos in somebody's mind or heart just by simply looking at what this man had to make.
Wow. Yeah. It's crazy what he made too.
Yeah.
It's insane.
This man would work day and night for days straight. You know what he would do? He would, since there was no light bulbs back then, right? He would put a candle on his hat just so he can be seeing what he's painting in at night.
He probably got wax all over him too.
He probably
Yeah.
did, but hey, you see the beauty of his creation.
Yeah.
I guess that was his form of ending the chaos within himself.
Wow. Yeah, like I always I always want to know like what goes in like trying to get behind these people's thinking.
Yeah.
Staring at something like what he did
Mm-hmm.
and trying to conceptualize what was going through his head and what was going on at that time in the world. Add all those things together and this is what he came up with, but why?
Yeah, and so many different people can have such a different interpretation to that art.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's like you're trying to understand the artist, but at the same time, you're trying to understand yourself.
Yeah, because think about it too. Like, I don't know if he had a family, but like, he made all this stuff. Like, where did he have a family? Like, did he just say, I'm going to stay here for like probably months on end to do what he did and just give up a huge part of his life? Or what did he do on his breaks when he was painting or sculpting or whatever? Like,
I wonder if he even had breaks.
yeah,
Right?
And was he listening? Was there somebody there playing a piano, violin? What was going on? Like, what was the weather like?
Because those things that he did, no normal person is thinking that way.
Yeah.
I think of Leonardo da Vinci too. He's one of those guys that really sticks with me. Just the things that he was thinking about at that time. I don't know how he got to that state of mind.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was God. Some people have thought that it was like, I don't know, some psychedelic drug or something that made him see stuff and he just expressed it through his art since he was already an artist or something. I don't know, but it's very unique.
It's crazy. And like the time it took for these people to do that stuff with the minimal amount of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
And like the stuff that we have today, we don't really see people doing anything like they used to do.
Mm-hmm. We don't. I wonder why.
And we have all these different options of stuff that we could just order off Amazon. We're able to do it, but these people had to like go out, make the stuff that they were doing, and then paint.
Yeah.
And we have like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we've gotten very, very comfortable. I think that's why. When you get to that comfortable state, your creativity starts dimming down. And then when you stop pursuing creativity, everything else just stops.
Yeah.
I brought it before up in the podcast that creativity is life, art is life, creativity is life. If you stop creating, you start falling into that state of depression. And now the way the world works, you don't really have the time to really, I guess, hone your creativity. You know what I mean? So everything's more like this all the time. So you can't really just focus on just creating something so big. Because even if you try to focus on something, at the same time, you're thinking about, oh, I need to go pay this. I need to go here.
Yeah.
I need to go fix that. I need to go here. You know, it's just always all over the place.
Yep.
I think that's probably one of those things that it was for them, that they just had all day long to just focus on this, to just think.
Yeah.
And now if you think, like, there's always going to be something or someone telling you that what you're thinking is wrong. So at the same time, you're like, I don't know what to think anymore.
Yeah. You want to see creativity, go to, excuse me.
Go for it.
Okay. If you really want to see creativity, go to a maximum security prison or jail.
Really?
These dudes, like, have done some of the most creative things that I've ever seen in my life. Like, the stuff that these people come up with is insane. You got dudes that build their own phones, like
Really?
cell phones, and from like TV parts,
What?
radio parts. You got dudes that know how to do all types of cool artwork, make basketballs and basketball hoops out of paper, all types of different games that these people come up with. Yeah, just the different ways that people are able to hide cell phones and stuff in there, get electricity, escape. I've seen these dudes would do some crazy stuff, man.
Really?
Just like really blow my mind.
I heard Mr. Beast. Do you know who Mr. Beast is?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard him say this recently. There's this clip of him going around on Instagram, and it says that when you first start out, people are going to call you crazy. But once you see the success, you're going to be known as a genius.
Yeah.
So I think that's very, very true. We can go back to the Renaissance painters. I'm pretty sure everyone was thinking that they were crazy, because they were just starting out. They were doing their things, and everyone was like, what the heck? This guy just stays inside all day and does art? Like, what the? But they start seeing the success behind it and the true meaning of what it means to be an artist. And now they're looked upon like a genius. You can take Elon Musk was probably seen as crazy. What's his name? Tesla.
Nikola Tesla.
Nikola Tesla, even him, he was probably seen as crazy. Basically everything that you see around you, the person who thought about it was probably seen as crazy, or had to go into that level of craziness just to get that out of them.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. It's crazy that you say that.
Yeah, it's crazy that people are crazy, I guess.
Yeah, man. Like, when I started believing in God, people, or when I started telling people about my experience, the paranormal experience, like you said, they would think that I was crazy, but they didn't realize that made me the person I am today. Like that, those experiences are what made me turn to the spiritual beliefs that I have today.
Yeah, you had to go through all that to find out who you really were.
Yep.
And to who you are now.
Yep.
Yeah, I think people need to start doing that a lot more. Just embracing those like dark moments in their life or those past experiences, and know that you had to go through that in order to find out who you are.
Embrace the crazy.
Embrace the crazy, yeah. And then later on, make it work towards your favor.
Yep.
So what are your plans, man? What are your plans for I've asked this question because this has been asked to me a couple of times. What are your plans for like the next 5 years?
Honestly, I don't really have any. I don't think that far ahead, really.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. Sometimes it's a little bit harder to think that far ahead.
Yeah. So, okay, currently what I'm working on is I've been getting really into cinematography.
Oh, really?
And making videos and making my own short film. Currently, right now, I'm making my own short film. And
can you tell me what it's about?
It's I'd rather you just say it. I'll just tell you. Never mind. Okay, so it's so it's just kind of my experience. So one of them is my experience, kind of like what we talked today about,
Yeah.
but summed up in like maybe 10 minutes.
Okay.
So just trials and tribulations and how I got to where I am today.
Growth.
Yeah. And then the next one is a comedy that has to do with my cat. Yeah. So I just made that one up last night. I just started writing it while I was at work, and it was like this brilliant idea, and I think it's going to be pretty cool to make.
Yeah. So you just want to expand on your art?
Yeah, just expand in my art, just get better at, learning different ways to tell stories with cameras.
Yeah.
Because I'm really good at telling stories through my music and talking with people. But if I can hone in on visually showing people, because I also think about, like, there are people who are deaf and they can't hear my music. If there's other ways I can tell stories to people visually, and like I was going to do a short film where it just was words on the screen and certain things, but then I was saying to myself, well, what if a person can't see? So I think of all these different things when I'm creating something, and because I want it to reach people. I want it to maybe reach somebody that, because we never know where our content's going to go.
Definitely.
We never know where it's going to end up in the hands of.
Yeah. Once it's out there, it's in the hands of the universe. You never
Yeah.
know who's going to be listening or who's going to be watching, who's going to be
Yeah.
feeling it.
Yeah, like just randomly on my phone the other day, a video popped up of a guy taking a dump. Like, and there was like no views on it, and I was like, why am I the first view on this? What is this?
Yeah. Why do I need to watch a video of a guy taking a dump?
Right? It was the weirdest thing, dude. So, that being said, I just want to focus on my craft. I'm also working on cybersecurity. So, I got really into online security and protecting people from being scammed and protecting people from, just bad people out there that want to take advantage of
Yeah.
younger people,
Or
So,
not even sometimes younger people. Sometimes like the older people who
Yeah.
don't really know how it works get scammed the most.
yeah, well, not just scammed. I'm saying like,
Taken advantage of.
yeah, like sexually,
Oh yeah.
protecting people from those kind of people, So, I just been teaching myself all these different coding languages. I taught myself the Python language. It's a certain language in the computer that it can program a cell phone. It can program your computer to do different tasks. And I'm able to read that code in a way too. And it's,
Python language. Interesting. What does the Python language look like?
it looks like numbers and variables. So it looks like a lot of parentheses, and it will say something in the parentheses. It will say like character underscore name. Okay, so do you have a Windows computer?
I do. Yeah.
Okay, so if you're ever online or Google Chrome or Edge or whatever the web browsers, and you press F12, it will bring up all the code on the web page that you're looking at.
Oh wow.
That
Okay.
code I'm able to read. So it will tell me like what the variables are of a picture. It'll tell me the length of this picture, the height. It will basically tell me how the web page was built. So I'm able to read. So if somebody's sending an email that has a phishing ad in it, and they're trying to get people's credentials, I can run this script that will tell me if there's any malware in it, if there's any phishing stuff in it, and so it looks like, parentheses. It'll say if I'm reading a story and I'm looking for a specific character's name, I'll put parentheses character underscore name equals, and then I'll put the name parentheses, and I'll press enter, and it will highlight everywhere that name is. So I've been teaching myself how to do that off like YouTube because I can't afford school.
Yeah. No, there's definitely a lot of different resources out there that can help you learn something. Basically anything now.
Yeah,
There's a lot of books out there too that's probably going to be
yeah,
beneficial.
tons of books. There's this dude named oh man, I forgot his name. Something the web. He's like this old school hacker dude. He's like
Okay.
50 years old. He's pulled off like some of the biggest hacks, and he teaches a lot of people through his books
Mm-hmm.
how to do certain things and how to protect yourself. And a lot of people in this community too that do programming and this computer stuff, they're all about getting free education.
Yeah.
So some of them even upload like Harvard classes that they post online.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a YouTuber named Michael Reeves. Have you ever seen him?
No, I don't think so.
He builds like robots and does like
Michael
a bunch
Reeves.
of crazy stuff with them.
No, I don't think I've seen that, but I'm gonna look into it.
He's hilarious, dude.
Okay.
He is like, he's really funny. He pointed out that you can go online and one of these schools uploads all of their notes and all of their classes. And this is like a grade A school that you have to pay millions of dollars to get into. On their website, they just upload everything,
For free.
yeah, for free.
Yeah.
So he told people about that, and it's just easy to go check it out.
Yeah, there's a lot of information that we could be learning. It's crazy how the internet we underestimate it, I guess, because there's so much to it that we've never put in thought to.
Yeah, yeah, man. And for people who don't know, like, what to look for, it like really saddens me that people are getting taken advantage of. Like people who will download an app. Like there are chess apps, like an app for people who play chess.
Mm-hmm.
They know that a lot of old people play chess and solitaire.
Oh wow.
So they put malware in this app, and when they download it, it'll send over all their credentials, everything.
Wow.
Luckily, it got taken off of the Play Store, the Google Play Store, but I just wanted to be a part of the people who are protecting people from that stuff.
And it's crazy with like news stories. Like I remember, I don't know how long ago it was, but it was some like 16-year-old who hacked into like the Pentagon and released some like files or
yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Like you see the levels to it. You know?
Yeah.
You can do some crazy things by just knowing how the language of a computer.
Yep. Yeah, and I think he did that too just to do it. I don't
Yeah.
think he was after anything specifically.
It kind of showed it's like, bro, if a 16-year-old can get in there,
Yeah.
it's probably somebody out there who has a lot more experience who
Oh,
can
yeah.
easily get in there.
Yeah, man, and so that's one of the things I'm working on. But also, if people don't read like the agreements to some of these apps,
Yeah.
they're able to take our information and do whatever they want with this.
Yeah, I mean, like TikTok, they have literally everything that you do on your phone, they know about it.
Yeah.
Outside of the app, every text message that you send, every app that you open, every post that you like on different apps, every email that you get,
Yeah.
literally everything.
Yeah, it was invented by the Chinese government.
Yeah.
You know, and-
I remember at one point, it was, I think during quarantine, Donald Trump was trying to ban TikTok.
yeah,
It happened like twice.
I kind of understand why.
I can definitely understand why.
Yeah, dude. I mean, we don't want our information being sent to like a country that hates us.
That hates people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hates people basically. Yeah. Yeah. So like, that's one of the things I'm working on. So like my video stuff, just learning, this computer stuff. It's called like ethical hacking, protecting people from stuff that could be used to take advantage of them. I skate a lot too, so like no real plans, but maybe
Just living.
yeah, just
Living and learning.
living and learning and getting better at my craft.
Hmm. So just growing in general. You're just
Yeah.
excited to grow.
Yep.
That's a good way of growing about life.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I can say that too. I love living. I love learning. I like to just keep growing and see how I think that's one of the things that really excites me is just being able to watch everyone else grow while I'm growing too.
Yeah.
That's really something cool. So I'm
Yeah.
excited, man. I'm excited to see what you come up with in the future.
Yeah.
We've been talking for an hour and 57 minutes.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's been a great conversation.
Yeah, it has, man.
I'm excited to have you on again in the future.
Right on.
You know, definitely got a lot more stories to talk about, and I'm
Yeah.
excited to see your short films.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate you letting me come on.
It was a work in progress, but we got it done.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. If you guys happen to enjoy, make sure to like and subscribe. Remember, God loves you. You know, don't forget that ever. Tell them where they can follow you.
You can follow me at YouTube at CJ West, or on Instagram it's at cj.the.mf.g.
Yep, and that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. If you guys are on any audio listening platforms, come to YouTube. There's a whole YouTube video version of the podcast. It's a lot more fun. You guys can see our expressions, or I guess really get connected with how we're telling this, or how you were telling the story. Because what you told me today was, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, man. Yeah. Again, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next podcast episode. See ya.